Hello, everybody. We are back. We had to take a little break due to a lot of busyness in our lives, but we are back, excited, and it's episode 7. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Layla and Jaden. How are you guys doing early on this Thursday morning?
I'm doing good. Finally, for me, we're recording at a reasonable hour of the day. I love it here. We have so much to talk about. I'm so excited to be back. I feel like this break was has replenished all of us, and we're back and ready to talk about all this content we have going on. And yeah, I'm excited. Jaden, how are you?
I'm good. I feel like last few weeks we've seen. At least I've seen a lot of really cool movies. Just to name a few: Blue Beetle, Haunted Mansion, and it's been honestly a really good summer of movies. And I'm excited to talk about what's coming.
Hell yeah. And something that's coming back tonight is Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. It is back after a couple-week break. The first U.S. leg is complete. We are headed to Southern America, and I am so excited to start. But something that happened at the end of the U.S. leg was we got an announcement that 1989 Taylor's version is coming out October 27th everywhere, and I could not be more excited. I think probably her best pop album that she's released. Easily before now, I would say was probably the peak of her career before, like, at this moment in time. And I'm really excited to dive back into that era, and she looks so excited to do so as well. Layla, what are some songs you're looking forward to hearing re-recorded?
Well, first of all, I think it has such good potential for some killer vault tracks. Like, I think Taylor even said, like, these are some of her favorite songs that she's recorded that are going to be on the vault track. So we have so much to look forward to with that. For me, the one song I'm so excited for is New Romantics. It is my favorite from 1989. And I just feel like hearing that with Taylor's, like, matured voice is going to be so good. And, like, even, like, all of the other songs. Like, if you ask someone, like a casual person, to name a song by Taylor Swift, they would probably name one from 1989. Like, this is one of her most iconic albums. It really kind of, I would probably say it probably shaped her career in a lot of ways. And just like, it's just an amazing album. It's the one I put on when I just need like a hype day. It's so good. It has so many great songs. And I would be very intrigued to see who she has, if she features anyone on the vault tracks. Like, I think there's so many names that you could throw in there. I know today we've had discussions about this, like theories, but yeah, it's gonna be so good, and I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be so much fun. And for me, when she released Wildest Dreams and This Love TV
Yes.
a couple of years ago, I ate up this love, and that has me so excited for You Are in Love, the re-recording.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good song. I feel like she has the whole Lover album, which is centered around falling in love, but I think that is still her best song of what it really means to feel like you are in love. And
Yeah.
that's what the name says, and I really, really am excited to hear that one. Also, Wonderland. Wonderland is so underrated. It's one of her
Yes.
best songs, and hearing her matured voice on it is going to be awesome. But I'm with you. The vault songs are going to be amazing. She said it's her best. There's been some speculation about a certain Herald showing up on this album. We'll see if that happens. I'm personally in the camp. I think it would be awesome, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I also think there's a lot of potential for this album. I've also heard rumors that we know she wrote the song "This Is What You Came For" Calvin Harris and Rihanna. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
out of the picture for her to re-record that like she did with Better Man. I think that
Mm-hmm.
would be really, really cool too. So I feel like there's a lot to look forward to, and still have. This is the third left. We have 3 more left after this. 2 after this releases, and let's dive into one of those. We've gotten 2 songs in the past few weeks from Miss Reputation TV, and those were "Delicate," which we saw in The Summer I Turned Pretty, season 2, and "Look What You Made Me Do," which was in a trailer for, I forget the show's name, another show on Amazon Prime, and they both sound phenomenal. "Delicate" is such a great song. The part from the song that they put in "The Summer I Turned Pretty" sounds beautiful, and "Look What You Made Me Do," the production's a lot different, actually. It's almost like a combination of the more rock-heavy version they've been doing on the Eras Tour and the original. I think it sounds a lot better. I'm not the biggest fan of "Look What You Made Me Do," the stolen version, so I'm really excited to see how TV fully sounds. And Rep TV is just going to be so special, and I think it's really, really cool that the only 2 albums after 1989 she has to take left is her name and her reputation, and that is really, really fun. Layla, what are you looking forward to on Rep TV?
Rep is like my bad bitch album. Like, I love this album so much. There are so many incredible songs, and just, again, like, I will say this for every recording, like, we've already said it like 3 times, but hearing her matured voice on these songs is going to be so different, and it's just, it has me so hyped. And those snippets, like the Look What You Made Me Do, the snippet we heard of that from Taylor's version, like I'm Sorry the Old Tail Can't Come to the Phone Right Now, that sounded so different, and I'm so excited for other like parts of songs like that were gonna like sound so different. And I can't wait. And Look What You Made Me Do, sorry, you go.
One thing that does worry me about Rep TV is she was in love when she wrote Rep TV. And after hearing Call It What You Want live on the Eras Tour, that love, gone. She sang that angrily. So I'm really curious to see if that anger comes across on Rep TV. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I'm very excited because I feel like, especially Call It What You Want, Dress,
This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things.
This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. All these songs, some of them, a lot of the ones that revolve around Joe, I'm really curious to see how they sound now that we're post-Joe.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
But as we mentioned earlier, the Eras Tour has wrapped up in the United States, and we had a lot of great moments. You had the announcement of Speak Now TV. You had Speak Now TV release night in Kansas City, where she brought Taylor Lautner, Joey King, and Presley Cash on stage. We had Jack Antonoff coming on, Aaron Dessner coming on, the performance I Miss You, I'm Sorry with Gracie Abrams. So many great moments from tour, and that's just one leg. We still have so many more shows. Layla, do you think we'll get any changes as she heads international?
Like we were talking about before we started recording, I think these next few shows aren't going to be that much different. Maybe a song or two changing on the set list, maybe like interchanging them. But she does still have a lot of surprise songs left, and like a lot of good ones as well. So I would be surprised if she like completely refreshed all of the surprise songs and just kind of like abandoned the ones she hasn't done already. So I feel like for Southern America, this will be kind of similar to the US leg. And then when she comes to Europe, I think that's when the big changes are going to be, like changes to the set list and then kind of redoing surprise songs. I think that's when shit will hit the fan and we will start going crazy all over again. And we will get to witness it because me and CJ are going to the Eras Tour together. I'm booked in for 3 shows, so that's 6 surprise songs for me. And I am so excited to see the changes. I think the set list now is so incredible, but even with like the slightest changes to the set list, like for each set, could make all the difference. And like there's so many songs on each album that would just like kill me every single night if she performed them every night. It'll be amazing. And so yeah, I don't think there'll be many changes yet, but when Europe hits, I think that's when the big changes will come into play.
Miss Taylor's booked and busy at work, rejecting Super Bowl halftime shows and writing new music. You love to see it. But speaking of Europe, sometimes you're the Prince of England and you fall in love with the first son of the United States of America. And that's what we got in Red, White, and Royal Blue. It was honestly really fun. There were some changes made from the book that I wish they would have kept in the movie. Like, June was just completely written out of the movie. The parents are still together. And those are some issues that weren't really issues, because honestly, in the movie, they did a good job of translating it. So I really loved the movie. I thought Nicholas Galtzine as Henry was just phenomenal. He's so funny. I cannot wait to see Bottoms that he's in next weekend. And it's honestly, the vibes of the movie is hilarious. It's one of the more funny movies I've watched. I got all my friends to watch it with me, and they were even laughing. It was a great time. It's really out of pocket. Like, some of the sex jokes they make in this movie are just, like, wild. Like, at one point, they were saying Alex's name, and he was like, I thought Alex Gabriel, and then his name was a mouthful. And then Henry looks at him and says, he is, and then makes, like, this seductive face. I was like, oh, my God. It's just, like, out of pocket. It's so funny. It's such a great movie. It's really heartfelt, too. I cried. I know a couple of my friends cried, too. It's just such a funny but also emotional. It's a rom-com, and you know how rom-coms are. They're always good. even when they're shit, they're great. And I loved Red, White, and Royal Blue. I encourage everyone to watch it. And another movie that has been watched recently by one of our own is Blue Beetle. Jaden, take us away.
Yeah, so Blue Beetle, as I mentioned before, it's honestly such a good movie. I feel like a lot of the DCU movies, so I guess now that we kind of restarted it with The Flash, I think a lot of errors have been avoided in this movie, as opposed to what you would have seen in The Flash, which I honestly haven't even seen yet, and I don't really have any desire to see. But Blue Beetle is my favorite character. I was actually introduced to Blue Beetle in Young Justice, which is an animated DC series that you can watch on Max. But yeah, Blue Beetle, it was amazing. It had a ton of emotional beats. It was super family orientated, which I honestly really enjoyed. I feel like the moments that Zolo and I don't know the actor's name that plays his dad, but whenever they were on screen together, it was always so emotional. I remember crying twice during this movie. Well, four times since I saw it twice. But it was so good. Um, like I said, Zolo is so good as Blue Beetle. I feel like there wasn't a better choice for that type of casting. And that being said, having some I mean, I'm not Mexican, but I know seeing Hispanic representation in superhero film is huge across the world. So having that and being Hispanic myself, it was really cool to see that. And as for the future of the DCU and where it kind of stands, being that James Gunn didn't really have to make much change to this movie, which has been reported, it's going to be cool to see his future, moving forward because his story kind of seems untouched. It seems like James and the crew like where this film went and where his story is going moving forward. Um, and yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to get Ted Cord back and kind of have that relationship between Jaime and Ted, and he's kind of showing him how to unlock his abilities with the Scarab, and yeah, it's honestly going to be a ton of fun, and I'm excited to see where Blue Beetle kind of ends up in the larger scope of things. But yeah, speaking of superhero stuff, Loki. A couple weeks ago, we got a trailer for. Well, was it is our first trailer right for Loki? Yeah, well, we got our first trailer for
Yeah,
Loki, and
I think
Layla, why
so,
don't you
yeah.
take that away?
Yeah, I think there's so much to unpack in this trailer, and the guys over on the Age of Fandom podcast did a really great breakdown on that. But for me, I'm very honest with my opinions on Loki season one. It was not the best thing I've seen, and I loved watching it week to week, so obviously I'm gonna still watch Loki season two, and I think it has a lot of potential after what season one already brought to the table. I think Loki is on such a complex journey in the timeline, and also like all the other characters that we met along the way. I'm so excited to see their stories develop, like Ravonna and Hunter B-15 and Mobius even. Like all these characters have such like complex stories, and I think they're gonna bring so many good new opportunities for the MCU going forward. And we saw a bit of Kang in the trailer, which I think could maybe give us a few hints towards Kang Dynasty, and like kind of leave some doors open for that. But the trailer did look good. The one thing I want in this series, honestly, is Mobius on a jet ski. Like, it's all I need. Loki season one didn't do it for me, so I'm looking for the little things to make me happy with this season. But I will obviously give it a chance, and it does look great. The new characters look great, and yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about in it. CJ, what did you think of it?
I think it looks like a lot of fun. I'm with you. Loki season one was hit or miss for me. I thought some of the things were cool, but Sylvie and Loki's dynamic is something I've been quite overspoken about. I don't really love it, so I'm curious to see where we go from there. But Sylvie's working at McDonald's. I think she looks great at the
Yeah.
McDonald's. She looks phenomenal. Like, Sophia DiMartino looks so good this season. I'm excited to see where she can take Sylvie. I hope it's in a bit of a different direction than the first season. I hope that we get more like almost backstory on her, because we got a decent amount, but it still feels like we barely know her. So I'm hoping we dive a little bit more into her and what she went through on that journey. Because I remember someone in an interview recently said that she had been chasing Kang and whoever's the head of the TVA for centuries, maybe even. So now that she finally got her revenge, she's not quite sure what to do. She just wants to relax, hence why she's working at the McDonald's. So I feel like diving into that aspect of Sylvie could be a lot of fun. And honestly, just seeing Loki and Mobius back together on screen is going to be a lot of fun too. I'm also very, very excited what we saw with the warping, because it looks very similar to me of glitching that we see in Across Beyond into the Spider-Verse. And if we start playing with those dynamics a little bit more, it just makes me even more confident that we're going to get a Jake Johnson Spider-Man in Secret Wars, or Miles Morales appearing in Secret Wars. So I'm really, really hoping we get that. And also Kihei Kwan. Love that man with my whole heart. So excited to see him in a Marvel project, and I cannot wait to see what he does.
Yeah, and honestly, just to kind of piggyback off that, I'm excited to kind of get back into this multiversal timeline stuff. I really enjoyed Loki season 1. I watched through. That's probably, I want to say it was top 3 on my list of Disney Plus Marvel shows. And, Loki has just a special place in my heart. So I'm incredibly excited to see where his story ends up, because his story, leading up to Loki was kind of just defeat after defeat. And, he was kind of almost like season 1 of Loki was like his 6-episode therapy session. And he was just kind of getting in touch with himself. So, kind of seeing where that left off, now and moving forward is going to be super exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And I do love Loki as a character, like all through like phase 1, 2, 3, whatever of the MCU. I love Tom Hiddleston, I love Loki, and I am excited to see where his story goes next. And I hope in my heart it for me it does more for me than Loki season 1 did. But I do have quite high hopes for it. I think the trailer looks great. And yeah, speaking of TV and film, we're gonna do a new little segment here on just things that we have watched recently, and just we want to shed light on maybe smaller projects that aren't as mainstream, or even mainstream things that aren't talked about anymore because they're old or whatever. What have we all watched recently that we have loved? Jaden, do you want to start this off?
Yeah, sure. So I've actually spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks watching movies that I should have seen but haven't, unfortunately, or movies that are a little bit newer and I just wanted to give them a shot, because why not? So just this is the list of movies I've watched just in the last couple of weeks. What's Your Number? Haunted Mansion, the first one, then the new Haunted Mansion, then Muppets Haunted Mansion, then Pulp Fiction, Good Will Hunting, Little Miss Sunshine, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, War Dogs, Due Date, Swiss Army Man, Ex Machina, Raya and the Last Dragon, The Greatest Showman, Drive, Clueless, Crazy Stupid Love, Blue Beetle, Princess Diaries, and Cocaine Bear. So I've been pretty busy.
Princess Diaries? You've never seen the
I
Princess
have
Diaries?
to watch the second one now.
Drive is so good. Ryan Gosling's best work.
So good. But yeah, so I mean, I've been pretty busy. And I guess I don't want to talk about every single movie that I just watched. I just listed. But I will just say, watch more movies. I feel like this summer has kind of felt like the first summer that cinema is like really back. And so I've been trying at least, once a week to watch a new movie, hit the theater, every couple of weeks, whatever. But yeah, the movies are a good time, and you should take advantage of them while you can.
Hell yeah. CJ, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I've been watching two things pretty heavily recently. The first of which you can hear me talk about in deep detail on Ticket to Reality from this week's episode is Big Brother. I have never been this into Big Brother, I don't think, ever. I've always loved it, but I'm watching cams whenever I can. The personalities they have on this season are so extra, and it's so awesome. You have a redneck from Tennessee named Red. You have a badass chick from New York named Blue. Just all over the place. Lovable characters, some not lovable. One of them is going home this week, I pray. And reality TV is a great time. And another show I've been watching that's also has some big personalities is something I got into due to its popularity on TikTok, so I couldn't escape it. It's The Summer I Turned Pretty. Let me just tell you that Jeremiah and Belly are two of the most annoying motherfuckers I have ever seen on my TV ever. They both drive me absolutely insane. I love the show, though. I'm super into it. I'm Team Conrad all the way. Spoilers for everyone who hasn't finished it yet. The season 2 finale pissed me the fuck off. It's not great, but it is so good, and I will hate watch it every time I can. But Belly, if you're listening, please just make up your goddamn mind, because you're stressing me the fuck out. Like, please. I can't take it anymore.
Oh my god, I have seen like countless people screaming about The Summer I Turned Pretty on my timeline, and like because so many people have been like, you should watch it, I'm like avidly saying no, I'm not fucking watching that, because I just know that I will hate it. But I do love a good hate watch, so maybe I'll have to give it a chance. But yeah, I have been binging my ass off on Shameless. CJ got me into it. I'm on season 7 right now. I didn't even start that long ago. Like I was saying to CJ before we started recording, I think I've literally watched like a season in like 4 days at the minute. Like I am plowing through it and I am loving it. There are so many fun characters. This is the US version, by the way, not the UK version. I know there's a UK version, but it just in my mind I feel like it won't be as good, so I'm kind of scared to watch it. But I'm loving Shameless. What did I watch recently? Like, I'm rewatching Narcos. I will tell everyone to watch Narcos at any chance I get. It is a phenomenal show. I love it so much. It's some of Pedro Pascal's best work. Speaking of Pedro Pascal, obviously I've watched Triple Frontier. Again, I will tell anyone to watch this any opportunity I get. I'm trying to think if I've watched anything. Oh, I watched 13 Going on 30 for the first time. I loved that film. I feel like I need to watch more films of that vibe. Like I need to speak to like Emma. She always gives the best film recommendations. I need to get Emma on the phone. But yeah, I've been watching a lot recently, but I have just kind of been stuck on Shameless. But I'm really enjoying it. And speaking of new TV shows to get hooked on, Ahsoka is here. Finally, the wait is over. The first 2 episodes dropped on Tuesday, which is a new format for Disney Plus. Tuesday nights for the US, and I think like Wednesday morning for the UK sometime. But we got screeners to watch it early, which was such a great opportunity, and I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I think the common kind of criticism is so valid in that it had some pacing issues, but I think that's one of Star Wars' main issues right now. But I can look past it and say that I really did love the first 2 episodes. I think some of the character introductions and reintroductions we got, if you've seen them before in Rebels, were amazing. The performances, the score, there's so much to talk about. CJ, what did you think of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka?
I liked it, but I didn't love it. I'm with you. I think the pacing was a little wonky, which is fine because these first 2 episodes are very clearly establishing episodes. They're meant to get you caught up on what happened in Rebels and the Clone Wars, everything you know about Ahsoka and Thrawn and Sabine and Hera. And it does a really good job, I think, of telling that. I just wish the pacing was a little bit different. But the story they're setting up is very, very exciting. There's a lot to look forward to. They even say a lot of things that might make me think we're leaning towards Cal Kestis. I know they mentioned Night Sisters in the first episode.
Yeah.
And Night Sisters somehow had a map to a hidden location. I wonder what that hidden location is. But that's just me being Delulu. Hopefully it's actually Canalore and that Night Sister is actually Marin, because I would freak the fuck out and you would never hear the end of it. But I'm very excited. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera she looks a little funny, but she brings Hera's energy to the screen. She eats every scene she's in. I also think it's really iconic that her and Ewan McGregor are both in Star Wars now as prominent roles. That just makes my heart so full. Star Wars couple, you love to see it, and I'm with you. This soundtrack, Holy shit. It's good. It is real good. And I am very excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, the score is unreal. Like, even in the first, like, 5 minutes of the first episode, I had chills from the score. Like, it just complements the show so well. I think the composer actually worked on Rebels and the Clone Wars too, which just makes this even better. Like, bringing this world back to life. I love it. I love it. I love it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like you said, amazing as Hera. And Sabine also was one of my favorite parts of both of these episodes. Her energy and in her live action appearance, I think it's Natasha, the actress who plays Sabine. She is phenomenal. Like, the attitude she brings to Sabine is just like spot on, and she really carried some of these scenes in the first two episodes. But yeah, I really did like them. Um, Another thing I said in my review for Agents of Fandom, my spoiler-free review went live on agentsofandom.com, and also TJ's review of episodes 1 and 2, spoiler-filled. You can go and read those now. One of the things I said was not accessible for casual viewers, meaning if you haven't seen Rebels, you might need to watch like some recaps on YouTube just to like get to like grips with these characters and like the lore surrounding them, because there is a lot that, like, so many references. Like, I watched it with my mum and she was like, who's Ezra, who's Thrawn, who are all these people, how do they know each other? Like, it's not very, you won't understand every point if you haven't seen Rebels, which could be an issue for a lot of people. But if you haven't seen Rebels, please watch it. It is an incredible show and you will love it. It is amazing. But yeah, and I think there is so much potential for this show. It could go in so many different directions, and I'm just so excited to see how it unfolds. So yeah, unless anyone has anything else to say about Ahsoka.
Um, I'm not really a fan of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. We can get into
No.
this a little bit because the energy she brings to the role is like almost completely the opposite of what Ashley Eckstein brought to the role. And I know we don't really know what happened to Ahsoka after Rebels. We only seen bits and pieces of her in the Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. I thought Rosario was fine in the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, but it still kind of feels like a different character almost. And I hope if she keeps doing this cold, mysterious version of Ahsoka, we at least get a little bit of lore reason why Ahsoka is so much colder, so much more mysterious now than to what she was in the end of Rebels. Because it really does feel like a different character at times. And it's hard to watch a little bit because Ahsoka is so beloved, and I loved Ahsoka. Ahsoka in the Clone Wars is one of the best things that Star Wars has ever done. There's this one episode of Tales of the Jedi. I think it's the season finale of the first season of Tales of the Jedi, where Ahsoka's in this town and hiding, and a Sith comes and decimates the whole town, and they have this duel, and it's just one of the coolest moments I have ever seen in Star Wars. And I really wish we got that Ahsoka in this series, and we still have time to, so I will give her another chance. It's just hard when I don't think Rosario is doing a phenomenal job with it right now. Layla, what do you think about that?
I do agree with that. Just piggybacking off what you said, she's such a different character, but I am down to see where this series goes. But Jaden, you've seen The Mandalorian, and what did you think of Rosario as Ahsoka and her appearance in that?
So I was gonna say, I wasn't introduced to Ahsoka through The Mandalorian, but considering when I watched The Mandalorian, I was only about halfway through the Clone Wars and I hadn't seen Rebels yet. I wasn't entirely sure what Ahsoka's live action appearance should be like, and so that being kind of like my main, fix for Ahsoka, that's just kind of what I got used to. But after seeing, I'm on the last couple episodes now. That's why I haven't seen Ahsoka yet. Um, it makes sense. There's just an attitude, there's an energy that I don't think, just based off of seeing her in Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, like I don't think she's got that just yet. And like you said, I mean, there's still the rest of the season, but I don't know. I'm interested to see how that's been translated into her own series.
Yeah, there's a lot of good points, and we'll see how it goes. But I just think Ashley's portrayal of Ahsoka is one that can't be topped, and she did such an amazing
I
job.
agree.
And as animated Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters. She's a lot of people's favorite Star Wars character, and I think if we don't like get this kick that we need by the end of the Ahsoka series, she could go down in a lot of people's lists, and that's really sad. But we'll wait and see what happens. There's so much potential in the show, like we've already said, and we will be covering it every week on the Ancient Fandom site. CJ, you want to talk a little bit about our reviews coming out soon?
Yeah, me and Layla and TJ are working together to get reviews for every episode that comes out. I believe I'm up next for episode 3, so I'm excited to get that to you guys. It should be a lot of fun, and yeah, just stay tuned because Fandom Academy and TJ are running Ahsoka. All love to TJ, but he'll never be as cool as Fandom Academy.
So real, and definitely keep an eye on all of our TikToks as well, the Ancient Fandom and the Fandom Academy. Fandom Academy, that's our new name. Fandom Academy TikTok, because we will have so much fun content coming out surrounding Ahsoka. Maybe a few giveaways, a few Easter egg videos, who knows? But just keep your eyes out. And I think that can successfully wrap up episode 7 of Fandom Academy season 2. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been so great to come back, and I'm very excited to carry on covering Ahsoka. It's going to be so much fun. Jaden, where can the people find you, and do you have anything in the last minute you want to plug?
Yeah, so you guys can find me pretty much on all socials at Jaden CM Duran. I guess just keep an eye on my Letterboxd. I do kind of want to start. I have only been rating movies, but I'm thinking I'm going to start like actually reviewing them and like putting my thoughts down on that on Letterboxd. So yeah, I mean honestly, just stay tuned to that. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Perfect. CJ?
You can find me anywhere at CJ_, working on some cool stuff. I know we're going to try and get more TikToks out. And yeah, pray for me as I start my second year of school.
We're all praying for you. That sucks. Yeah, you can find me anywhere on all socials at FalconsNat. And like we said, follow Fandom Academy on all of our socials, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the lovely places. And check out every other podcast on the under the Agents of Fandom network. Obviously, the AOF podcast. We've got Ticket to Reality, Listen 3000, Comic Corner, and The Critics. You can find them on any podcast platform. We have some great content coming out all the time, and definitely keep your eyes on the site for some really great reviews coming soon. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Peace.